Morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I miss you a lot. Miss seeing your faces. All right, let's do a quick recap. Talk a little bit about chapters 3 and 4, and then we'll read chapter 5. Okay, so we talked a little bit about chapter 3 when Mr. Dursley, Uncle Vernon, takes his whole family on this crazy adventure to this very remote little place in order to, if we think about his motivation is to get Harry away from the letters. Now, I want you to think for a second, what is his real motivation of getting Harry away from those letters? Is he trying to protect him? I don't think so. I think that his real motivation, after we read through chapter 4 and we hear both him and Petunia and Aunt Petunia talk about Harry's parents, I think his motivation is jealousy. And he doesn't want Harry to be affected by that world, but he doesn't want himself to be less than Harry, just like he and Petunia were looked at as less than Harry's parents. So I think that's important for us to realize that his motivations and his intentions are not good in all of this. So in chapter 4, we really started to get to know Hagrid, who's a pretty funny character. He's this big old giant, but he comes in, and I think that as readers, we like him immediately, because it's like he's this big giant, like, friendly thing that loves Harry, and as readers, we've come to love Harry even just by chapter 4. So that's been really interesting. I asked you when we were reading chapter 4 what Hagrid's point of view was of this whole situation of the Dursleys not telling Harry about his true identity and his life, and his history, and his parents' history. And his point of view, he definitely feels like more than angry. He feels like almost betrayed, almost offended that they didn't tell him, and he is more than angry. He is so incredibly furious at the Dursleys for not telling Harry anything about himself and his true identity. Again, Uncle Vernon's motivation for keeping that stuff from Harry was very selfish, right? His motivations had nothing to do with Harry. It really had to do with him and his family. The mood of this chapter, of chapter 4, was really interesting. It started off almost scary, and then when we realized that Hagrid is a likable character, the mood got really, it got really calm once, like right towards the end of page 50, the mood got very, very calm once Harry finally knew the truth. And I think that that was also really helpful for us as a reader, even though we know the story of Harry Potter and we know he's a wizard, but as a reader, we're going through all of these different chapters and we don't know what's going on. Even if we really do, we still haven't been able to connect all of the literary dots that have been laid out for us. These men in cloaks, this green writing, this letter, all of these different pieces finally come together right at the end of page 50 when Hagrid finally says, "You're a wizard, Harry." And then the whole scene, the whole mood, the setting, everything goes silent. Because finally, Harry understands and we as readers understand too. That's where all of this weird stuff was coming from. Okay, and then we go into Harry's point of view as he's just starting to learn all of these little things. At first, his point of view is timid, I would say, shy, unbelieved, right? He's not convinced. He's like, "I think you made a mistake. There's no way that I'm a wizard." And then once he's convinced, once Hagrid really tells him, well, what about all that strange stuff that happens to you? Did you ever notice any of that? And Harry's like, oh. So once that starts to happen, then Harry is so intrigued. He's so interested to hear the details of his life, to figure out what this means for him, as anyone would be, right? That's something very relatable that we can easily understand, is of course he's interested. Of course he wants to know. And then how is that? I saw a big similarity between Harry and Percy in this chapter, of Harry growing up, not really realizing who he was, knowing all of these things that happened to him, knowing that they're weird, but not realizing what was causing them. And that was very similar to Percy, who grew up in the normal world, but was clearly not a normal boy. And he didn't realize that all of this was happening to him. And then when he was first brought to Camp Half-Blood and told, yep, you're half God, he was like, no, I'm not. You have me confused. I'm stupid. I can't read all of this stuff. And Harry says the same thing. He's like, I can't be a wizard. I get beaten up all the time by bullies. There's no way that I'm a wizard. And then once he's convinced, he's intrigued, and he's excited and eager about it. So, that was chapter 4. Work on those narratives if you feel like it, if you get a chance. And we're going to read chapter 5 today. And I think I might post a quiz soon, just to grasp your understanding. All right, love you, kiddos. Talk to you soon.